Welcome to the Marksman video, guys. Hi, you like Marksman? Marksman are pretty sick. Marksman are very strong. They're annoying. They're good units. I wouldn't say they're my favorite unit, but I'm surprised because I usually love snipers like and everything. But I do use these units quite often. The only reason why they're not my favorite unit is because an Arclight's my favorite unit. If Arclight didn't exist, this unit might be my favorite unit. Just because that's what I like. But without further ado, let's talk about what it can do. This unit is, I would say, the longest range unit in the game, if high level, and if a proper build is on it. This unit can literally go into like 300 range category if you build it out that way, and you also get like an item range mod on it. It's insane. This unit has an absurdly long range for many reasons, but it starts with 140 base, which is very high. The only thing that has more than that is like a Stormcaller. Just base. It's very, very, very far. It's pretty like relatively squishy. It's not designed to be a tank. It's designed to be in the back. Its attack is really high damage and its attack speed is relatively slow. So that you want this unit shooting at big targets as much as possible. If this unit is sitting there shooting at like crawlers or fangs, it's painful to watch that. You're like, oh God, I want something else to kill the chaff. Like this unit could be doing so much more. But when this unit shoots at anything that does full damage or anything close to full damage, it feels great because you're going to be killing high value targets pretty fast. And going through the upgrades, this unit has a lot of choices. This unit is, I don't think this unit has the most upgrades, but it definitely has a lot. I think a Wasp might have more. But first upgrade is double shot. What it does is instead of firing just once now, you take a 15% attack speed nerf. Like you shoot 15% slower, but the trade-off is you shoot 2 shots at the same time. So you actually do increase the DPS overall, but it's even more painful if you're shooting at like chaff with this, but it does more damage if you shoot at like a giant unit or any unit, again, that has like 10,000, 20,000 HP, something that's bigger. You could just crap on it with double shot. It definitely pumps damage quicker. And I would say this upgrade is very situational. I do not think you should just be getting this upgrade every single game. I think this upgrade should be something you should grab whenever you have a problem. If you run this upgrade, it's something I think you should upgrade when you're running into a problem where like you already have Marksman, or let's say you want to make Marksman, and you're going to get this upgrade for the purpose of just bursting out something that is a current problem. Like, let's say your opponent is like pushing you with a giant unit and it's just like really fucking tanky, or like he's got rhinos or something running at you. If there's just something that you can like, if you can set up a situation to where you can confirm your snipers are going to shoot the right target and you want that target to die ASAP, this upgrade could be a good choice to take at that time. It just does more pump burst damage on bigger targets. But again, you do take an even slower attack speed. So you got to make sure that if you take it, you're shooting the right stuff, because it will be even worse if you shoot chaff the whole time with that. So be careful when you take that. And then that's about it. I feel like it's very situational upgrade. Not always good. Range enhancement, always good. This upgrade literally just makes this unit have absurdly good range. It makes it have the exact same amount of range as a siege unit called a Stormcaller, which is 180. And that is a absolutely far shot. This thing can shoot, when you're in the game, if you have range enhancement Marksman, they literally shoot like halfway across the board. Like they shoot so far. It like, if you're thinking about like chess, it'd be like a pawn shooting another pawn almost from spawn. Pawn shooting pawn from spawn. That's how good range enhancement is on a Marksman. It's insane. You shoot very far. Not a bad upgrade at all. There's nothing I can say that's bad about it. Literally, it just makes the unit better because it keeps also the unit safer. It keeps the unit further tucked in the back so that it's not walking forward and getting killed. There's really no downside to range enhancement. There's no debuff that comes with it. It just makes the Marksman be able to shoot further away. And if you can set your board up to where the Marksmen are actually hitting targets that they want to be hitting, then they're going to do it at a safe distance. So solid upgrade, not a bad one. Definitely mandatory for every Marksman build, I would say, pretty much. It's just really good. Quick reload. What this does is it makes your attack speed 50% faster, but it also makes your damage 50% lower. You essentially do the same amount of damage with this upgrade turned on. Like if there was a damage meter and you had to measure out 9.3 seconds, which is 3.1 times 3. So it's like it's attack. It's just like if you were to wait for 3 attacks, it would do the same amount of damage with a quick reload versus its base value damage. The thing that's nice about it is that it allows the sniper to get more shots off. So if you have modifications there, you can get more shots off through modification. Like if you have double shot and quick reload, that is totally a thing. That could be a modification that would actually give you more damage because you're getting double shot, double shot, double shot, and you're getting a way faster attack with it. That's a way you could argue it could go up, or it really would. Factually, it would just go up in damage. But if you don't get anything else and you just get quick reload, it does not actually increase DPS. It's 50% down in damage for 50% faster attack speed. So yeah, you equate to the same thing. But it just helps the sniper not be stuck too long on bad targets. I don't run the upgrade myself. I think there are better upgrades than it, but it does have ways where it can be decent. So I don't think it's necessarily bad. Also, if your snipers, a good time to get this upgrade too would be a supporting upgrade for like a higher level marksman. Like basically, if you don't have any early level damage mods you want to run with it, like double shot or something. If let's say you have a marksman that's like level 7, and let's say this marksman is doing so much fucking damage that it's like one-shotting everything it shoots at, basically, because it just has so much damage per shot. Quick reload could help you just like shoot targets faster, and you could still arguably maybe kill a lot of them if you had a really high level marksman. If your opponent doesn't have something that's super high tanky. So it could be a good choice if you math it out and you're like, well, if I lose half my damage, I still pretty much like kill a lot of stuff it shoots at right now. If you're looking at your board specifically in a game. So it could be good, but again, the odds of that happening are kind of low. It's like low chance of that being a situation you can run into. I would say more often than not, it's really just an upgrade you want to get for mod-based upgrades, like again, like double shot. But you could also say something like, oh, I'm going to get quick reload to like deal with a wasp pack. Like it's like flying units that I'm going to shoot them faster. And maybe that would be how you want to deal with wasp, but there are better choices, I think, than this for that. So overall, it's in my opinion, it's not the most insane upgrade, but it's not terrible either. It's all right. It's just very situational about how you want to play the marksman. And then that's about it. And then moving on, we have once again EMP. This is another unit that has EMP. What EMP does, again, it makes the unit have 40% slower move speed, and it turns off all tech on the unit when it receives the damage from the marksman. So if you have EMP turned on and you shoot at something with like 3 upgrades for the next like 4 seconds or something like that, after it gets shot by the marksman, all of its upgrades turn off and it runs 40% slower. So this upgrade can be really, really good at disabling tech. And it does it really well because you can disable tech from a safe distance. So if there was something that has just a very annoying thing that it's doing to your army, and you want to turn its tech off, that would be great. Like let's say your opponent had I don't know, like something with a range enhancement, like a Vulcan with like range and like damage buff as well, the scorching upgrade. And you're like, this thing is like killing everything. But now suddenly a marksman shoots it with EMP shot, and it also has a bunch of range. So you shoot it from super far away. And now the Vulcan turns off all of its tech, and now it's like a base Vulcan. And suddenly you're like, wow, my problem solved. I've turned off a lot of that unit's damage by EMPing it. Can be good. There's a lot of situations where it can be good. But I would say this upgrade is a supporting upgrade. It is not a primary upgrade. You will never get this first by itself. You will always get something else before you get this upgrade. This is really just a reactive upgrade. If you go, oh, my opponent has a really annoying boat with regen and range or something like that, or he's got a Wraith, the donut unit, the flying like orb mothership core thing. Oh my god, it's got all this like tech turned on, and it's flying into me, killing my whole army, and it won't die. Suddenly it gets EMP'd, and now it's killable. Stuff like that. It can be really good if you use it as a support upgrade, but that's about it. Never get it as a primary. Then you have Elite Marksman. Elite Marksman increases the damage of the Marksman by 17% per level it is, and increases the range by 5 per level it is. This is also a supporting upgrade. It gets more value the higher level the Marksman is, but it is insanely good because it gives the Marksman more range. And this is one of the reasons why I was saying the Marksman can have so much range, because it can shoot 45 range further away if it's level 9, or subsequently whatever level it is times 5. So 45 is max there for that. But it just adds so much power to the Marksman because it gives you more damage and it gives you even further range. And a Marksman, a lot of times, if you get it leveled up, it's going to be one-shotting or two-shotting a lot of things in the game, unless it's like a juiced-up giant unit. And even then, if it's a juiced-up giant unit, and let's say you have like 5 Marksmen that are all like level 5, they're going to just drop that giant in the fucking dirt after like 1 or 2 volleys of all of your Marksmen if they all like target it. So it's a very good upgrade, but again, it's a supporting upgrade. You never really want to get it first. You want to get it maybe second or third or something. And then Shooting Squad. This is a really good upgrade. I used to run it a lot, but I don't really run it as much nowadays because I like the other upgrades more that I'm running in the bottom. And we'll get to the other ones in a second. But what this upgrade does is it makes your Marksman at the start of the round, every Marksman you have spawns 5 fangs in a horizontal line in front of your Marksman, and they just start walking forward to the opponent's side of the board. So it essentially just adds chaff to your army. And fangs are great chaff units because what you can do is you can make one squad of fang, just one squad of fang. You can upgrade barrier on that one squad of fang. And now every single fang that spawns out of your Marksman with that upgrade also get barrier from the fang upgrade. So they share upgrades. So you can literally make little meat shields, like you make a Marksman, which also creates like a little meat shield tank line that walks out of it. It only spawns once per round, but it is pretty valuable. Like this used to be back when I used to play Marksman a long time ago. If my opponents would make like early Wasp, because Wasp was a great answer to Marksman, Shooting Squad was a great way to deal with Wasp, because now suddenly you have a bunch of fangs that can kill the Wasp, not just the Marksman. So it has its usefulness. It's not bad. I don't think it's the best upgrade Marksman have overall, but it definitely is not a bad upgrade. It's really nice if you want to have a build where your Marksmen are like a core unit, where you're going to get a fair amount of them, at like, let's say like 6 to 10 Marksmans or something like that. But now also you want to make more chaff with it as well by getting that upgrade. It does have, its usefulness. And then moving on, we have Assault Mode. This upgrade is definitely aggressive, kind of like how the name says, Assault Mode. What it does is it makes the Marksman have 500% more HP, which is respectable, because again, what that does now is you multiply 1622 by 5, and that's essentially its new health bar, and that's going to be like almost 8,000 health, basically, somewhere around almost 8K, and that's going to be pretty big. That is a respectable amount of HP. It does not die super easy, but not only that, it makes the unit walk faster, so you get in closer quicker, and its attack is increased by 30%, so your damage is higher. It also gives the Marksman an AoE splash of 9 meters wide, which is respectably large. That's bigger than Arclight. And then the trade-off is the unit loses 70 range. So it essentially becomes like a frontline assaulter. And it's really good for like all-in builds. Like if you want to do a build where your Marksmen are going to just suddenly charge your opponent's towers and like your opponent's like line on their side of the board, like if you're going to play very far forward, it's super solid. And it's still, the Marksman can still hit air and ground by default. So now you can like AoE air units, you can AoE ground units. It makes this unit kill chaff itself now pretty decently well. Like it's not the best chaff killing unit because it still has kind of a slow attack speed, but it can kill chaff because it AoEs now. So it just makes the unit really, really strong as a frontliner, like going in, like charging in and like trying to kill shit. I I don't all in a whole lot in this game. I'm not really an all in player. I definitely like to play more defensive reactive play styles myself. But this upgrade is very good if you want to play an aggressive style marksman. It's solid. And when you actually get to a point where you're like wrapping marksman in flanks and also on the line in the middle and then on the other flank, and you're just pushing in all angles with these assault mode marksmen, mixed with other things too, obviously, it's pretty formidable. It's pretty scary to deal with, and sometimes it can, if the marksmen start leveling up, it can get really, really scary because the marksmen hit so hard when they get higher level with this upgrade as well. And then finally, we have Aerial Specialist. This is a reactive upgrade for sure. And I would say more than anything, it's really an upgrade when you have a problem, when there is like not a lot of air units. And when I say a lot, a good number to represent that would be like 10 plus. Like if you have like double digit or triple digit air units, this upgrade probably not going to really matter that much, probably. Because if we're talking about like mass wasp, you don't need to get aerial spec. What aerial spec specializes in is it specializes in making sure two things happen. Number one, you don't lose the range battle between you and the air unit you're about to fight. And number two, you kill it because you do a lot more damage to it. Because what this upgrade does is it gives you 75% more damage, and it also gives you 30 more range, specifically when you shoot at an air unit. So if my opponent has like Phoenix, when my opponent has Overlords, when they have Wraith, when they have the new unit, which if the new unit's kind of weird because it's called the Phantom Ray, but if a Phantom Ray has like a cloak ability, might not be very good for this upgrade. But basically, when a unit is there and it's a problem, it makes the marksman able to shoot it from much further away, and it hits it really, really, really hard. So it's again, I would say the two that are most common are Overlords and Phoenix, but it's really good against just big air units with a lot of HP, that if they ever shoot the marksman first, the marksman will just die. So it like increases the chance your marksman's going to shoot first and really kill it before the marksman gets shot at all. So it's a really good supporting upgrade. I would say this upgrade is also going to be something you're going to take either second or third, depending on how your opponent plays his board. If you're using marksman, if your opponent like loves Overlords or loves Phoenix, this would be a great upgrade to get second if your opponent, or if you already have like range, for instance. But if your opponent like doesn't really go for air focus, or maybe they have like air, but it's not really a problem, then I would say this upgrade probably is not better than Elite Marksman if you want to invest more into the Marksman. So Elite Marksman is also good versus air. It's good versus everything, but specifically if you have an air problem, especially early game, aerial specialization is amazing. And the build I run is aerial spec, range, Elite Marksman, and EMP. I feel like in my games, about 100% of my games, I get range enhancement first. And then I would say behind that, it's about 50-50 between aerial spec and Elite Marksman. And if I want to go deeper in the Marksman, and only sometimes is there like a fringe example where I really want to get electromagnetic shot. Where like, let's say I have like a guy who's flanking me with like a regened up level 4 Wraith. And I'm like, he got like a level, like a Wraith card with like a level up mod, and he put a regen mod on the Wraith, and he's like building around it with other crap. And I'm like, okay, this Wraith is a problem. I need to get rid of it. And I currently have like 4 marksmen. And I'm like, all right, let's just get EMP, because like the damage I have already is like not able to get it done or whatever. And maybe they're all like low level. And I want to make sure its regen is turned off so that I can make sure it dies. Something like that. If like you wanted to, again, it really just, if you want to turn off upgrades, then it's good. Another time this would be a good upgrade to have is if there's like a unit in this game called a Phoenix. And if a Phoenix has a mod where it can upgrade, where like every time it dies, it can resurrect itself over like 15 seconds off of if another Phoenix is still alive at the end of that 15 seconds. That upgrade used to be permanent. Like every single time one would die, it would always start that timer. But now they nerfed it, and now you only get 1 res per Phoenix. So it can't be more than once. But even then, you can still res 1 time. This upgrade would be a good one to get against something like that, where it's like, oh, I don't want him to like respawn all of his Phoenix from one side to the other side. That's going to be super annoying. Let's EMP it. So when I kill it with EMP, it turns off his tech and he can't res at all. Something like that would be when it's like a good choice to take as well. Again, it's a very reactive upgrade. It's not really something you want to just get by default. And Marksman, I would say, is just a really good unit to have. It's similar to what I explained in the Arclight video, where it just has a very accessible XP bar to level the unit up with. All this unit really needs, the only thing a Marksman really needs, is something that can kill the chaff. As long as you can kill the chaff for a Marksman, then the Marksman is now allowed to actually connect to bigger units where it can actually maximize its full potential of damage. It will level up really quickly if it's scoring kills on giant units or on bigger, like mid-tier units like Scorpions or Farseers or Sledgehammers or Steel Balls, stuff like that. Like if you're able to get bigger units, this unit will level up very fast, and you'll find yourself having like high-level Marksman in no time, as long as it's not getting stuck killing crawlers and fangs all day and wasps all day. Wasp is probably the biggest #1 enemy of this unit because they bypass everything. Like if you don't really have any ATR in your army besides a Marksman, this unit's just going to get stuck killing Wasp all day, and it's going to really make the unit feel kind of horrible until you fix that and get some more anti-air killing units. But overall, Marksman is very good. This unit can go with every single composition, realistically. It's really annoying in every single way. Especially, again, depending on what upgrades you run. But the way I run my Marksman is I like them to be a support sniper, like in the back. That just really helps like add in some really high, heavy single target damage through the upgrades that I have here. And yeah, I love it. I love using it that way. It's really solid, and it's easy to... Marksman is almost always going to be like one of the last units left alive before the round's over because it has such good range that it's like always in the deep back. But really good unit overall. I recommend my upgrade loadout. And again, I feel like most games you can get away just by only getting range and calling it a day and then focusing your money elsewhere. And then range is like good enough to make Marksman's great because this unit by itself is like good by default as long as you support it by killing chaff with other units. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for the Marksman. Solid unit overall, but yeah, thanks for watching, guys.